19.
I didn't. I just didn't deal with it. After the record had come out, I went immediately on tour. So everything that was happening was like just happened, and I was told that these things were happening, like, oh, your record went #1. I was like, oh, that's nice, thank you. And I say, thank you, Lord, and go on and do my gig, I really had no time to bask in it, which is, thank God, because I think once you can sit back and actually realize what is happening to you, I think you start to think how great you really are. And for me, it was a joy to sing. I love to sing. I love music. I always have. I was raised in it. I was born into the show business kind of thing, and my mother gave me all the warnings of what could happen to one who got so big for themselves, that got so big that the very ones you see going up are the very ones you're going to see coming down. So I just kind of kept a level on it, and knowing that I can't be greater than God, I can't be no bigger than him, so.
Perhaps she wasn't caught up by the glitter because her mother, Sissy, was a session singer and also sang backup with Elvis Presley. Her cousin is Dionne Warwick, and she called close family friend Aretha Franklin Auntie Reed. But the New Jersey native says all this never fazed her.
I think most people think that because I grew up in show business that I really didn't have the opportunity to have a childhood like some children, are not allowed to have when you are in show business or surrounded by it in some way or another.
I've always wondered, is everyone in the music business actually related, or do they just say it, just pretend, oh, well, we're just going to say that these people are cousins? Tell me your thoughts about that in the comments.
But I did, my mother was very adamant about her children. My mother and father both were adamant about their children having a childhood and being able to play and be kids and do all the things that children do, and and then move into the adulthood with a natural progression. Just being surrounded by my family, sitting around after Christmas dinner and with all my family members who all can sing, instead of talking after dinner, we all went and sang. That's probably my most fondest memory of just being young and being surrounded by a lot of love and care.
You talked about just having a normal childhood. One of the things that goes along with being a kid is being teased.
Yes.
And you talk about
oh, yeah.
when you were younger.
Oh, yeah. In grammar school, I was teased a lot because I think I had light skin and my hair was long, and my mother dressed me a certain way, and as opposed to the other girls, who were my age but who looked a lot older than myself, who were sometimes a lot darker than I was. You had that conflict of light and the dark thing. I think Spike told it the best. That it was a problem, in my childhood growing up, that I got teased a lot and got picked at a lot, but I overcame it. It was no thing for me. It just taught me to stand on my own.
Tell me about some of the struggles that you overcame from your childhood.
But Whitney's most traumatic experience as a youngster was the breakup of her parents. John and Sissy Houston split when Whitney was 15. She remains close to both parents, but I wondered if as a child she tried to place blame for the breakup.
You try to. You definitely try to, because automatically you get into the position where you have to take sides, But we eliminated that, by saying, my brothers and I sat down and said, listen, we are not going to do this. Although sometimes it becomes that, mommy's way, daddy's way, and, that kind of thing. But we decided that we weren't going to do that, that we would try to balance it as best as we could. And it's hard. It's really hard. But we all three of us know that our parents love us, and that we have to be as understanding to my mother as we are to my father, So what do? You try.
During this time, her faith in God and singing helped her through. She told me there was another incident where God helped.
My brother and I were playing. I was very young. I think I was about 6. And I had a hanger. I was, you know, kids play with stuff, and I had my tongue out, and I was dangling the hanger, and I was playing, and we started rustling and wrestling and stuff, you know, and then he did like this, and he hit the hanger, and it went in the back of my mouth, and it went so far back, and I pulled it out, and as I pulled it out, I ripped a lot of my roof, and it was about an inch away from my vocal cords, and the doctor said that if it had went any further, I wouldn't be able to speak to this very day.
Let alone sing.
That's right. Yeah, I'd be doing this.
Fortunately, Whitney's destiny was to sing, not sign, though she says she didn't always want to be in the spotlight.
I didn't want to sing, really. It wasn't my intention to be a solo artist. I was perfectly fine being in the background singing in the choir. You know, I enjoyed that so much because I had my friends, my cousins, and everybody was in the choir, and you know, I enjoyed that. But one day my mother said, I want you to do this song. And I was like, I don't want to do this solo song. She said, but I want you to do it because I know that you have it. And she said, Mommy wouldn't let you do it if she didn't think you had it. So I went out and I tried it, and there it was. I closed my eyes and I sang the song, and I opened my eyes, and the church, the Holy Spirit had come to the church, and it was an uproar, you know. And I guess from there I said, well, maybe this is what I should do.
You can't necessarily go and meet somebody and maybe become as quick of a friend as you would want to because you don't know what they want.
It disturbs me sometimes that I can't just go out like everyone else and associate and meet people as a regular person. I try to, but it's difficult because they already have this image of me, you know, as to how I am, what I am, you know, that whole thing. I try to be myself, but people often try to be other people other than what they are, you know, which totally puts my guard up, you know, because then I always ask, well, now what you want, you know, what do you want out of me, you know. It's a very difficult thing, and sometimes it does disturb me that I just can't be myself, and that people just can't get to know me for me.
I want you to think for a second. For instance, what if you were Whitney Houston? Tell me, what type of disguise do you think you would use just so you can have that normal life?
Not for what I am, but for who I am.
Whitney has found some close friends. Among her closest are singing peers BB and CeCe Winans and their famous singing siblings, the Winans.
I love them so dearly. I mean, the whole Winans family, we have become so close and so family-like, you know. It's amazing how you can meet people and you're on one side of the world and they're on the other, and yet when you meet them, it's as if you've known them all your life, you know. I think that what our common is that we are both from church, and that we have that same foundation, and that our parents basically raised us with the same foundation. On the same foundation. I think automatically when you love the Lord, it's automatically an instant connection. I just love them, you know, and they love me, and I know that they are my dear friends because they know who I am and they don't care what I am, you know. That's what I love about them.
We talked about reaching a certain status and becoming what you truly are, a superstar in media terms.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that comes along with that is living in what some people call the fishbowl, and having to deal with bashing.
Right.
Does it hurt you? Does it bother you, some of the things that you have to deal with?
Sometimes you just get into your house or your space and you just go to crying, you know, because it seems as if you are living in this fishbowl, in this prison, you know, you're a prisoner of your own fame, because you can't be as normal as everyone else, not because you don't want to be, it's because people will not allow you to be, you know. But I try, you know. I know that I am human, and I try to make people aware of that fact. I go to the mall, I go shopping when I want to go shopping, I go to the store and get my own things when I want to do that, you know. Simply because I want to know that I can. You know, I don't want to feel as if I am a prisoner, because I am not. I was born free, and I want to always know that I am. Just because I'm famous because of what I do, you know, does not mean that I have to live in a prison. But sometimes, yeah, it is disheartening, because you don't know what's out there waiting you sometimes, you know. You might have a wacko or, you know, or people, you know, on this particular day you may go out and people may bombard you, you know, that kind of thing, you know. So sometimes it is disheartening, it really is, and it can hurt you and it can make you very angry. But I always remember it's the choice I made. And this is what goes with the territory sometimes, you know, that when you become this famous, that this is what happens, you know.
Another thing that happens is criticism and rumors. For instance, while no one really questions her ability to sing soulfully, some say she's whitened her records to gain more sales. I asked her about those who said she's sold out.
I don't sing white and I don't sing black. I sing. That's what I do, you know. Sell out. When I sing from my heart and my soul, so I don't know what this sell-out business is. I made good money, yes, but I think that anybody who was in my shoes would want to do the same thing.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hate that phrase crossover because I only hear about it when it comes to black people. I've never, not one time, heard about it with Elvis or the Beatles or anybody other than black people. Please let me know your thoughts about that whole crossover thing in the comments.
Yeah, it is show business, isn't it? That's what it is about, right? Okay, well, I sold 30 million copies of records. Did I know this, that I was going to do this? Absolutely not. When it happened, was I going to reject it? No, I was not. It made me very comfortable, and my family very comfortable. It allowed me to help other people when I could, you know. It's just not about me, it's about a whole world of people, you know. When you reach this kind of success, it's just not about being a superstar, it's about being helpful.
Then there's the rumor that Houston is a lesbian. She has constantly denied this rumor, but it seems to persist. I asked her why she thinks it won't go away.
It's because people don't know. I don't make it a habit of putting out in the street whom I'm sleeping with or who I'm with. My private life, that little piece of my life is mine. I want to keep that. You know, not that I'm sleeping with, you know, this one, that one, this one. I'm not a promiscuous person like that, you know. I think it's because they don't know and because I do keep my life to myself. You can't establish a relationship in the eye of the public because they'll tear it apart. You know, even if you try. Just recently, I became friends with Randall Cunningham. Now they got us married. You know, I'm having Eddie's baby. You know, I've come from being a lesbian to a whore. You know, so I mean, I just think they just make you to break you.
The Eddie she speaks of is actor Eddie Murphy, who she's been romantically linked with. She insists they're only friends. Most recently, the Gossip magazines report Houston and NFL quarterback Randall Cunningham are an item and ready to marry.
Randall and I are just friends. We're really just acquaintances. That's about it. It's not serious. I'm not marrying him. We're just friends, and that's it. We don't even talk on the phone. We just had a conversation and a date. I was in Antigua. He came down for a couple of days. We spent a little time together. We went home.
Last question on the personal side in terms of dating. We don't even know the man's name, just the ring man, they call him in
The ring
the
man.
press.
The ring man.
Let me put it to you this way. Is there somebody that you're seeing, just to keep those who read the rag mags happy,
Right.
is there somebody that you're seeing?
Yeah, I'm seeing someone. Absolutely. Sure. I'm seeing you right now with my own two eyes.
You say your mom said you see the same ones going up and coming
Yeah.
down, and people today would say that's a ridiculous question to look at the status you've attained, but do you worry about it? I mean, do you go home sometimes and sit down and say, man, this could be over?
Sometimes. Public can be very fickle as to what they want. You know, there's a lot of things happening today as far as the sexuality that I just won't do, you know. If that's what it takes to get music over, then I don't really want to be part of it, you know. I sing, and I sing from my soul and from my heart. And I think that should be enough. I think sensuality is a natural thing. It should not have to be put on. Sometimes I think about, well, maybe they're not ready for me. Maybe what I do, they just don't want, you know. But I'm constantly told that the human voice has more longevity than you know, all this stuff and, you know, all that other crap that's going on out here. So I try to remain with that. I try to remember that this gift that God gave me is He did it. And when He says He wants it to stop, then that's when it'll stop. I'll make that choice as to whether I want it to end or I want it to continue, you know.
Let me see if I can get Whitney Houston to tell me about Whitney Houston. Let me read you some of the things
That's
that have been said have been said about you. One-word definitions.
Ooh, okay.
Wholesome, refined, bossy, stuck up, bitchy, in charge. What do you say you are?
Go over the list one more time.
Bossy, refined, wholesome, stuck up,
No, not stuck
bitchy,
up.
in charge.
I can be bitchy when I get my monthly. I can be very bitchy. I think when you PMS can make you that way.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not expect for her to say that. But tell me some keywords in the comments that best describe you.
But bossy, I am a boss, so I have to do what I have to do. I have to make certain decisions that a boss would make. No, I'm not a very bossy person. No, it's very hard for me to be bossy because a lot of my family members, a lot of my friends work for me. But I do say what I want, you know, and I do give direction as to what I want, you know, done. But if that makes me bossy, then I guess maybe that's what I am. Wholesome? Yeah, pretty wholesome. Pure? No. Virgin-like? No. Saint-like? No. There's no saints down here on earth. They're all up in heaven with God.
Quote from you. Love show business, but don't live it.
Yeah, I love it. I love the madness. I love the madness of it, but I don't live it every day of my life. I am a person. I'm a human. I cry, I go through my changes and, I do everything I think every other normal person does, I think because I am famous, people like to sensationalize, oh, she was digging up her nose, Well, a lot of people dig it, they blow their nose, don't they? People do that, but, you become like this icon to people when you are famous, but no, I don't live it every day of my life. When I am not on stage and I'm not doing what I'm doing here, I am just Nippy. That's who I am.
I asked Nippy, which by the way is a nickname her father gave her as a child, what the future held for her.
Well, I'm going to do some movies, I think. Try my hand at that.
How soon?
Very soon. Very soon. I am going to do a film with Kevin Costner, which I think is really great. He believed in me more than I knew, He called me and asked if I would do a film with him. I said, well, I don't know about that, You're pretty huge, You're an accomplished actor, and what makes you think I can do it? He says, because I know you can. I always knew that I could act. It was just a matter of time and when I was ready to do it. And now I'm ready to do it, and I'm going to do it. So that's a part of the future plan. I like to get married, or have some kids, or have kids and get married. Either way it comes, It's kind of difficult right about now, Sometimes men are so high you can't get over them, and too low you can't get on them. I'm just trying to look for middle ground here, and it's kind of hard. But,
I've never heard it put in funkadelic terms,
yeah.
But yeah, we can deal with that. Finally, is there something that you'd like people to understand, to know about Whitney Houston that maybe through all of the articles and the videos and the appearances they don't know?
Ed, that's hard. I don't know. I think that if I said anything right now, that if I said anything that indicates that would help you to know me better, people would still want to know more. People always want to know more. They've already made up things about me, about my life, what I do, who I'm sleeping with, who I'm not sleeping with, So I just don't say anything. I just live my life. I can't worry about that.
Tell me some of the rumors that you've heard about her in the comments.
And I can't try to make a world of people know me. In order to know me, you've had to have lived with me. You'd have to be my mother or my father or my brothers or my friend, or people that really know me, You have to live with me in order to know me. I'd have to live with you in order to know you, it's very difficult to try to say, well, I'd like for you to know that so-and-so, or this and that and this and that. You know, no, that's hard. I think in time, as I get older and as they see me grow into this old woman, I think they'll say, I think we know her pretty much now. You know, when I'm dead and gone, they'll know me.
Please tell me your thoughts about this video in the comments. Share your love and or hate for Whitney Houston as well. Be sure to like, share, watch more videos, and subscribe to the channel.